What is one thing you don't leave LA without when you go on tour?
Sriracha.
Yeah, we've been sriracha on the road.
Particularly when we go overseas to Europe and England.
There's no spicy food.
No spicy food, no hot sauce.
You're like, come on.
Yeah. Cool. Do you think you've grown both musically and personally since your last release?
No.
No?
Not at all.
No, I feel like the same train wreck I was when we started this band.
I barely know this guy. I don't know. I'm still.
I think musically, on our first record, I think that's the line right now, and that's everybody keeps telling us that we've grown musically, which is nice to hear. I mean, but we don't see it. I actually think Innocence on the first record was a pretty fucking hot track, and Midnight was a pretty hot track, and it's a home recording. Like, you can think about, we sold almost 500,000 copies of a home recording. So like for us, and like play that song all over the world, like that we did at our friend's house in his living room. So I mean, in a way, it's like, yeah, I guess we've grown. But we also we had no resources before. Like we were on a wing and a prayer. Like no label would touch us. Nobody wanted any part of like our thing. It was always like a homegrown thing, you know. So I don't know. I think that's pretty hard. It's so much harder. I mean, although writing in this record was really hard, getting the production right for the first record, it took 9 months. I mean, it was tricky, trying to make all that stuff work together and get this arrangement down and make everything so. And then as people, like shit, I would like to think so, but then, you know, you find yourself just making the same fucking mistakes you always made, and just being on tour is just like, it just stretches your it's like running a marathon or climbing a mountain, and you're like at mile 25, or you know, you've been hiking for 10 days and you're at the top of something and you're exhausted and tired and sick and run down, and everyone's like, how you feel? And you're like, great, such an opportunity.
Ready to get on stage? It's night 10 and 15.
Yeah, we played so many shows. We had like 50 shows in 56 days. Plus there's doubles all those days, so I think it's actually like 75 shows in 56 days, over 10 time zones, and you just start to lose your mind.
Yeah. I think your answer leads into the next question about the inspiration for this album, because I know the other album was kind of breakups.
Yeah.
So, what was the inspiration for this one, you said?
It was a combination of a couple of things. Like, well, first of all, lyrically, I think it had a lot to do with the overwhelming experience of being on the road for 2.5 years and playing shows. I mean, your life really does change. Like, I mean, it was like we were a local band. We lived in our apartments in Los Angeles, and then next thing you know, we lived in airports and buses and fucking seedy rock clubs, and then eventually bigger rock clubs, and eventually festival stage for like 2.5 years. And it's just like, it's a blur. But it wasn't so much. So there's some of that, but some of it was also like so many people that we met, and there's so many stories that we heard, and so many people that would come up to me after shows and tell me something about their lives, and some way that the song kind of like became part of their life, or like thousands of emails. I mean, it's really hard to keep up with the emails. We try to read them all. And you start to feel like your life and other people's lives are overlapped, and that the narrative that you have, your ups and downs, they're connected to the same themes and ideas and ups and downs that other people have in their lives. And so there's a lot of that all at once, in the sense that people's destinies and people's day-to-day experiences are overlapping. 2 more minutes. We're totally stealing Box Hall Broadcast's dressing room right now. Our friends are opening for us in this time.
Where do you see you guys in like 10 years from now?
Right here,
In this room.
talking to you
saying,
guys.
like, we hear you've grown as a band. We think musically this record is, it's like so impossible to say, you know, and who knows. It's like not a big question to think about too much, you know.
Okay.
I think the more important question is like, you know, how are we sort of going about the journey we're on right now, and trying to, you know, have some balance and some perspective, and do some things that so that we can enjoy it and also try and stay relevant as artists in a way that it's vital every single night. That's the trick to the whole thing. And so, I mean, if we can maintain doing that, I think we're probably gonna have the opportunity to play music. But if we don't, and we get like fall into some of the pitfalls you can fall into, drugs or getting some tremendous ego, and no one can stand being around you, or becoming really precious about shit, or whatever. Like any of those things can happen, and you lose the plot. It's like a prize fighter, you know, or something. Like if you start to get too big ahead, and you're not hungry anymore, and you get knocked out. You know, it's a similar kind of thing.
Like in Rocky 3.
Yeah, like in Rocky 3.
When he lost to Clever Lane that first time, it was total disgrace.
Clever, what's your prediction for the fight? But like, you know, in the meantime, I think, you know, we're like in it right now. This record just came out. We spent a year of our lives trying to make the best record we could. Our shows, we feel really indebted to our fans. We have like the best fans, and they're super devoted, and I think they know we're super devoted to them. And there's like a romance going on right now. Every night we're just we're playing shows, and it's not like they're up staring at us or that we're looking down back at them. If everyone shows this feeling, it's like everyone's in the room looking at something together. Like we're all sitting here kind of, and all looking at these ideas, you know, that are sort of floating around and trying to bring these ideas to life. And that's just really cool right now, you know. So I mean, I would hope that we can continue doing that, but I mean, I think each of us has like things that we want out of life, you know, that may or may not fit with that. I'm not sure. But right now, it's very much like that's what we're going for.
On one other side of the die, it's hard to think about what's going to happen in 10 years when we're just, you know, just worried about what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow we'll play Toronto. Are you worried about it?
No, I'm mostly just trying to remember what we're doing tomorrow.
Toronto.
Alright, that's good. After that?
I don't know.
That's exactly what I mean. I think so. Cleveland or Columbus. One of the C cities in Ohio.
Nice. Any last words for Dad?
Are you going to execute us?
No. It's like your final cigarette? Do we get like
what do I want on my tombstone?
Do I get like a final meal? I would like a hamburger, I guess. What would you have for your final meal? Maybe a steak, I guess.
A surf and turf. Really? Yeah, steak and lobster. Yeah, why not?
Maybe a bagel ice cream cheese. You know, that's my favorite thing. Really? A bagel ice cream cheese, toasted with capers and onions.
Really? Oh, yeah. Make a mental note next time we're at the airport.
Oh, that's great, dude. No, not really.